10,000 miles for an opportunity, an experience like never before, a chance to continue a dream, to embrace the uncomfortable, the pressures, the challenges, an opportunity to rise above obstacles.
Go get it! Let's go!
To represent their country with pride. They say the journey to reach a goal far exceeds the goal itself. Welcome to theirs.
This is competition. I expect them to step up, play very well. You see there's a bunch of college coaches here to see them specifically, so let the fun begin. That's what we do, baby.
This is
1, 2, 3, yes,
10,000 miles.
I'm Kevin Hamilton here in New York City.
My name is Kieran Hamilton, co-founder of Hamilton Hoops Academy and current collegiate coach.
I'm sure you're wondering by now how this all started. Where did this journey begin? Let's hear from Kevin and Kieran about how this all came about.
I had a chance to speak with Brett Stringer, who was inquiring about some opportunity to work with players here in the U.S. to come over and play professionally in Australia. In speaking with Brett, had the opportunity to refer a few players to the NBL over there in Australia, and he started talking about his adventures with AAU and the opportunity to send high school kids here to the U.S. to seek scholarship opportunities.
It was very great to see these guys. I had only saw them virtually through the virtual tryouts, but when I flew down there, I was excited and ready to get to work with the guys. I didn't have any expectations going out there. I saw them once before playing, so it was really just starting up, make them up to tune with the U.S. style of playing. But it was a great experience. I think these guys were ready to work. They're open. It was their first time training with an American coach. So I knew they were ready.
Yeah, I'm
You're
tired.
working hard, bro.
Working hard. Coach Kieran got us pumping.
Is this as hard as you've ever worked?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Can you keep it up, do you think?
Yes, sir.
In having those discussions, we formed a nice relationship and had the opportunity to talk about what it would take to go on a journey together to try to figure out how we could help players over in Australia become players in the U.S. and go to college.
What did you learn about work this week and like the work ethic that's required?
I learned that it's a big step up from where I am right now, and that step's going to include a lot of hard work, including, and then going to America is going to be even harder just to adjust to the intensity I have to be at in a week's time.
Every day you show up, bring it your all. Act like this is your last chance you got. And you guys all came from Australia, so don't forget that. Like, remember why you're here. And remember that it's a bigger motive. Like, I'm trying to get to school, I'm trying to get paid, I'm trying to help my family. Whatever the thing is for you, find it and keep going and use that to motivate you every day and go hard. And I see a lot of potential in y'all, man. I just wanted to come chop it up with y'all.
Trying to understand what's your why, right? Your reason for being there, your why. You represent your family, you represent your country, you represent yourself. So try to take that into account, right? You gotta approach it as that every single minute of every single day. I got it? I got it. Let's go. Bring it up. Hey, let's go. Anything, boys?
With the accolades to back it up, safe to say these guys know what they're talking about.
1, 2, 3, lead.
I'd say the guys are in good hands.
You gotta get snapped.
I think for every young basketball player, anytime you're in the space of an NBA player or in their arena, seeing them do their craft, it's always a good experience because in the end I think they aspire to be an NBA player or close to it at the professional level, so going to the Barclays Center was a great experience for these guys, and hopefully it was able to inspire them, seeing them up close.
Knowing how popular the NBA game is worldwide, and knowing that a team like the Brooklyn Nets, has some of their countrymen, the Australians, on their team, I thought it was a good opportunity to bring them into an environment that showed them what the highest level really looked like, and them knowing people like Patty Mills, knowing of Patty Mills, gave them the opportunity to see what can happen, with the right work, with the right commitment, with the right connections, with the right luck, frankly. Giving them a chance to see one of their own countrymen participate at the highest level, we thought would be a real, energy booster for them. And also, there was an opportunity for Kieran and myself to really drive some team building and some relationship building with the players. Many of these guys who maybe played against each other but didn't know each other had an opportunity to sit next to each other at an NBA game and really talk about the game, marvel about the game, and feel good about their teammates.
By Porter. Now a switch. He's got Jayshawn Tate. Cross court. Jumper.
Watching the best players in the world up close can give you perspective. The grind, the hard work, the long hours, the sacrifice that it took to get to that level. It's really inspiring to see anyone in any field enjoying the fruits of their labor, doing something that they love every day. I'm sure these guys took something from this experience going into Boston. But now the real work begins. Now it's time to really show the world just what they're made of.
My thoughts like purely and truly, it's a lot of light, it feels positive. It feels positive.
So doing this for many, many years and coaching hundreds and hundreds of players that have gone through this same process, I felt Boston was going to be a real opportunity for these young men to get a strong sense of what the American game is like.
I'm excited, man. I feel like it's a really good opportunity for me to showcase my talents. Never had an opportunity like this before, so I'm just taking it all in. Yeah, hoping for the best. I wish we had something like this at home, we don't really get a lot of high-end stuff. Here it seems like they do like memberships or something, like we had something like this. And they'll tell them,
I thought these guys had the edge going into Boston with their athleticism. Wasn't sure how they were going to be able to compete with how fast the U.S. game was, but the first couple of games you could see it took some on-site training, some adjustments that had to be made on their behalf. There was only so much coaching we could have done in the first event, but it was difficult for them, and they needed that.
If you wake up, you're gonna have 10 points this time. If you wake up, you have 10 points this time.
Prior to going there, we felt like it was going to take a little longer for these guys to come together in a true sense. Playing against each other is one thing because you're playing against Australians and you're used to playing in a certain way. But going up to Boston, playing a different type of game, more physical, a little bit more competitive, I would say, and certainly more eye-opening with the type of officiating that the young men were going to get. We knew it would take a little bit of time.
I'm a coach, college. Is he a leader? Does he make plays? Is he consistent? Is he a good teammate? None of us have done that shit so far.
I think following both teams having 2 losses on their record at the midpoint of the tournament, it was I would say that was the low point.
Embarrassing. As a college coach, I would have left in the first 5 minutes. And I owe it to you guys to be honest. I'm not gonna kiss your ass. I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit.
They faced defeat in some of the fashions they did, but to their credit, they finished up the tournament in a good fashion. But some guys had their heads held low and they weren't sure if they were confident in their abilities.
Now, I don't want you to think this whole trip was bad. Despite a few bumps in the road, there were a few high points for the guys over the weekend.
Although we were disappointed in some of the results, we felt like it was really an opportunity for some guys to stand out, and they did. So a few guys took advantage of it. Other guys were still trying to figure the whole thing out. But overall, it was exactly the experience that we wanted these young men.
Happy that they didn't quit. That point, intensity is what is going to help them to win a game. So really proud what they did.
A few of the guys definitely caught a lot of people's attention during that weekend in Boston. The two that stood out the most, well, both of their names just happened to be Justin. Justin the C, a man amongst boys, asserting his dominance all weekend.
It's a bull in the china shop. He's been playing hard.
And Justin Ochoa, showing his scoring prowess and lockdown defense.
Having college coaches sit within 5 feet of you playing and analyzing and looking at what you're doing was something that these young men would never have the opportunity to do if they didn't come. So we were thrilled about that portion of the trip.
Both groups ended the weekend with a win. Despite the results, the one thing that stood out is that they never stopped competing. Coming all the way from Australia, they made their presence felt and earned everyone's respect.
It's a great win. Way to finish the tournament on a high note. Yeah, it's a great win. Yeah.
This guy's media trained. Hey, look. Tell AC we're coming, bro. We're ready now.
But this trip only proved these guys had a lot more work to do, and it was time to go back to the drawing board.
Atlantic City, we're coming.
A few days after Boston, the guys were back in the gym, getting ready for Atlantic City. But before heading off to DC for 4 days, Kevin and Kieran invited a couple college coaches to come get a closer look at some of the guys they were interested in.
These guys are playing their ass off. Coach Hamilton is doing a great job of getting them to talk on the court, being community, and I love the way they compete. So it's been a great experience watching them. I think they're getting a lot of coaching, which is huge for them.
Coach Hamilton invited me down to watch some of this great talent. Just amazing the job that he does with putting guys together in such a short period of time and having them play with such cohesiveness and playing well together. But I'm definitely enjoying it.
Another way to finish, guys. Another way to finish.
Oh my God! This is a
While the boys were away in DC, this gave Kevin and Kieran a chance to decompress as well. But also come up with a proper game plan to make sure that these guys have a more successful trip in Atlantic City.
Yeah, sir. Way too fucking work. Keep up the pace. Keep up the effort.
But while it was good, it was frustrating because when we saw what we needed to do, we didn't have access to them to either talk to them about what needed to happen, watch film with them like we do over here in the U.S., or even more importantly, get them in the gym to start to work on the developmental pieces that we need to work on. So I can tell you it was a little frustrating.
The Washington, D.C. trip was needed for the guys. They needed a little bit of a getaway to not hear our voices. It was probably a week straight that they heard mine and Coach's voice, so I thought that trip was needed. But it was also concerning too, given we had lost a few games in Boston, and going into AC, it was going to be vital how these guys responded. So not sure it was the best time for a trip, but I wanted these guys to be focused going into the next set of practices leading up to AC.
Feedback that we're getting not only online, but one of the coaches that were here, and you guys have done exceptionally well as a group. Exceptionally well. And I'm talking everyone, not any one individual. Because the buzz is like, wow, these are the kind of guys we want in our program. So, but what was really very good about it is it built up a sense of anxiousness on their coaches' parts that we couldn't wait to get back and have the first meeting with them. It was going to be raw. It was going to be explicit. It was going to be eye-opening. And most importantly, for those who were prepared to listen, it was going to be the turning point of their tour. And I can tell you, Kieran and I spent an hour in a weight room at the Spring Hill Suites Hotel with this group. And it was everything I just mentioned. Probably a little shocking to some of these guys. But we had a chance to really give them some feedback that we thought was going to be very, very valuable.
We had a couple of new faces too. And when you have new faces to a team, a program, you wonder if there's a shift in focus. And with the addition of Chris and Franco, I know they had lofty goals coming into this trip. Initially, they were supposed to be there from the start, but I didn't want that to take away from any of the other guys too, their focus, their commitment, and what their roles were prior to that.
So I'm excited for the guys this weekend. Now they've been here for an extended period of time. Their bodies are right, their legs are right, and most importantly, their minds are right. This is a very important weekend for a number of players. As a matter of fact, for all the players. You know, coaches have been following them, and all the feedback that we've been getting is that this will be the culmination of coaches getting a final look at some of the players that they're interested in. So overall, you know, this is what it's all about. And I'm hoping that the guys leave it all out here. Prior to getting on the plane back to Australia, they can all say they left everything they had. So I'm excited for them, looking forward to it, and let's get ready to go.
I expect my team to come out here and play hard. Obviously, I'm going to try my best to play hard myself, but it's just about competing, not being scared, you know, playing basketball. It's just basketball at the end of the day. Whether we knock shots down or not, it don't matter. We just got to execute on the defensive end, stop teams from scoring on us, and we'll be fine, I think. So, weekend's going to be great, but, you know, first game, I'm ready to get it started.
Not too sure what was in the air in Atlantic City, but you could tell things were going to be a bit different. Their aura was different. When they walked into the gym, they meant business.
I think these guys knew the trip was coming to an end and the sense of urgency they needed to have to do well in this tournament. And I could just tell there was a difference in their energy, there was a difference in their approach, and it showed in the game.
See, back in Boston, they were hitting back. This time around, they were hitting first.
We have not lost. We have not lost.
Australia gets it done.
Australia elite, baby. That's what we do.
Some teams weren't believers. They thought the run that they were going on was a fluke. And got a lot of teams' best shot. But the guys proved this was not the same group of guys from a couple weeks ago.
You guys are overhyped, overrated, and they're going to knock you down a notch. Let's see what that's all about. We'll see.
It was amazing to see the transformation up close. They didn't look like a bunch of players thrown together anymore. They were cohesive. Individuals coming together for a common goal. They were a team.
Y'all thought we were doing good. This is your out. Hey, let's get keep it up. Right. Come on, talking. Come on, this guy's good.
Going from the underdog to the top dog has its obstacles too. Now you get everyone's best shot to take your spot. Once again, they prevailed.
Why is it so quiet? Come on, man. I'm Mr. Quiet. It's quiet. I'm Mr. Quiet. It's quiet.
Quiet. Something else.
That's what we do.
We'll do something else.
And if there was any doubt in that gym that these guys were legit, the doubt was all gone.
The deal is by coming here understanding these are your last games in the U.S. tomorrow. no bullshit. You made a lot of noise. You got all the attention, but close the deal tomorrow. Both teams leave here undefeated. All right? We can't tell you how proud we are of the effort thus far, but come and take care of business tomorrow. Everybody understand? We are extremely proud. What we want to do, we bring it in, and on 3, we let them know who took care of business. Let's go. On 3! 1, 2, 3,
That's a good start. First 4 minutes, we need sandwiches. Stop, score, stop. Stop, score, stop. You guys got it?
The gold team did their part and finished the weekend 4-0. Now, it was the green team's turn to get it done. There was no way they were leaving Atlantic City without a perfect record. With the ups and downs leading up to this last game, you couldn't have asked for a better game to end the weekend. This game right here was truly a classic.
So going into that last game, the nerves were there, no doubt. It was a good feeling. The guys were focused. As the guys were warming up, you could tell the energy was there. And the entire court, the surrounding of the court, was 4 people deep, 5 people deep. Can they finish the deal? So that energy that was there was incredible. They were the talk of the tournament, and can they do it? Was really the question everybody wanted to step to the court and find out.
I thought it was going to be a completely different game, but to BCRI's credit, they made it quite the game. And it showed that our guys can respond to adversity. That's something very important in basketball. It's a game of runs. And for these guys to respond and keep it going was very special.
Basketball is for sure a game of runs. And BCRI made theirs at what seemed to be at the right time, getting the lead as the game was winding down. But there was still room open for the guys to come back and tie the game, which they did and had the chance for the win.
I want the last shot here. I want the last shot. Have I got it? No turnover. What it's all about.
Both teams weren't letting up, and in the first overtime, BCRI had the chance to win. But to no avail. The second overtime was pretty much the same thing. 2 teams going back and forth. The game is now in the 3rd overtime, which means
One score 3 points first, no matter how it happens. 1 3, a 2, and then a foul shot later on. It's the first to score 3 points.
sudden
Then
death.
you sit with a 3-point. You know what I'm saying?
Both teams trying to play the free throw game. The strategy wasn't really working for both sides. There was only one way to win the game.
We scored the next 2 points in good.
BCRI had their share of opportunities. It was time for these guys to get theirs and bring it home.
This is on you, brother.
It's always the quiet ones you really gotta watch for. And while Mayul isn't the most vocal, he does lead by example. And I could have mentioned him back in Boston, with his shot-making ability and his poise running the show. He once again showed his poise in a situation every player dreams of, and took advantage of the moment.
You asked the question before, did I expect them to win every game, which they did? Hell yeah, I expected it, because we felt like they were prepared, got a sense of what it's all about, and there's no reason they couldn't compete against better competition. So I expected them to play very, very well.
You guys should be so proud of yourselves. Everybody in this fucking place is rooting against you. But you battled, you hung in, my man. That's what it's all about. You never know who it's going to be to make them win. But here's the bottom line. Let's let them know who took care of business.
I think any time that these guys can get college coaches' eyes on them, it's an accomplishment. And to these guys' credit, everyone on this tour had walked away with some sort of interest or coaches asking about them. And that says a lot about their character, it says a lot about their game, and it really made coaching easy. So I think we accomplished what we wanted to do with these guys. These guys came with the determination and the grit and the vigor to get it done. So I was proud of them for that.
The reward for Coach Kieran and myself was really getting to see a group of young men develop, mature, and prosper. Because that's what this is really all about. At the end of the day, when these guys, when they decide to come play here in the U.S. in college or prep school or high school, whatever it might be, you can point back to this tour as a reason why.
Land down under. That's how we do it.
That's very, very rewarding, and I look forward to doing it again.
What a journey. The ultimate goal was accomplished. And as these young men make their way back home to Australia, you can't help but think, what's next? Safe to say the coaches are open to a second tour.
If pursuing a scholarship in the U.S. is something any kid or parent wants their child to do, you'll get exposure at every level, and given with myself and other coaches' experience and at the college level, they would really get a taste of what it would be like to be a collegiate player for a month or a week or whatever it will be. I'm sure the guys can vouch that they gained a lot from this tour.
But at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity for those who, would like to, prosper here in the U.S. and have a different look at a career. And hey, we're here. Reach out.
1, 2, 3, lead!